afternoon or evening, Leroy. How you doing? Welcome to From the Pressbox.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good. I've actually. Wait, did you say something?
This week felt long. The Wednesday to Wednesday felt long. Did it feel long for you?
See, weirdly, yes. I think it was one of those things. Like, I woke up this morning, and when I was going through my routine, something about it made it feel like a Thursday.
Yeah.
And I have no reason as to why it should have felt like a Thursday, because obviously Thursdays are different because that is the day after podcast. So we record this, so it's a little bit different with that. But yeah, no, it has felt a little bit weird. Well, you're commenting on our own podcast.
I need you to understand. Like I can't. I'm on my phone and I can't pull up comments on my phone. So I have it up on my work computer so I can view it. It's a whole complicated system. Regardless, I'm here.
Okay, we're here. So I guess you can only see the comments if I end up putting them on the screen, is what you're saying.
Right. That's why I pulled it up on my computer so I can see what they are.
Okay. So luckily you can see that if anybody has anything smart to say.
Yes.
So probably not. You probably won't need to see anything then because of our comment section. On the show today, a lot of baseball talk. All-Star game was last night. National anthem. Got to talk about that. Last year, Leroy correctly predicted the Diamondbacks to come out of nowhere and win the National League. Will he do it 2 years in a row and correctly predict the pennant? I don't know. We'll have Who Am I, tidbits, logos, play clock, NASCAR, and much, much more. The NASCAR pick contest, Leroy, ooh, it's getting interesting. It is getting interesting.
It's a stupid game. It's a stupid game, and I don't like it.
And see, what's funny is I made this game thinking you would be good at it. And it has not correctly gone to that. But first, I do want to talk a little bit. I have gotten my taste of the new college football game.
Yeah, that's on my list of things to talk about, so I can cross it off my list. Let's hear Sam Gormley's initial thoughts on college football 2025.
For one, I haven't told you this. I ended up not getting a PlayStation. I got an Xbox. Reason for it is you can still do cross-platform on everything except Online Dynasty, but I got invited to join an Online Dynasty, and it was an Xbox One. And so that pretty much was like, okay, that solidifies my decision. That's the way I'm going and taking an Xbox. Because I've been an Xbox person, and the only reason I bought a PlayStation to begin with was because of the show. And now the show is on Xbox, so it has no real benefit to me to stay on PlayStation. So I've done that, but it was interesting. So Road to Glory mode, we talked about that. That's where you are a recruit and you go through.
Correct.
It's funny.
I have a friend who's upset because there's only like certain positions that you can do, and he wanted to be a kicker, and he couldn't be a kicker.
Okay, I guess I didn't look at that. I chose quarterback, and you get to choose your star level. I think you could be a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. So I said, you know what? Let's just be a 4-star. I don't want to be an elite one, but I don't want to suck. Like, I'm early on in the game. Let's start off with a bang. So I did 4-star. Perfect. And what it does is it gives you a list of schools saying, if you pick one of these 12 schools, you're going to be a starter right away. If you pick one of these, you are going to be the backup. And then it's funny, like and these, they don't want you. You know what school was wanting me? I had like 3 schools that I got to pick between to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
The Ohio Bobcats.
Yeah.
One for me.
Yeah. Middle Tennessee.
The UMass Minutemen.
Oh, UMass.
And the Northwestern Wildcats.
Oh my goodness! You need a quarterback. We do need a quarterback.
So you know who I picked?
Sure.
You know who I picked? Yeah,
UMass.
Absolutely.
I knew it. You're such a jerk.
But see, what I wanted to do though is I wanted to start with a small school and just keep hitting the portal every single year and be that guy and just seeing where I end up. I'm going to be that guy and just do it. Paul's in the middle of a 3-sport fantasy draft. We're drafting football right now. My goodness.
You.
Only you. Only Paul Reeves would do that. But so it's fun so far. The graphics are good. I've enjoyed it, but I'm in the middle of. So I didn't buy the early version of the game, so I have to wait until Friday. But since I pay money to EA, they give you 10 hours free.
You've already used up all 10 hours?
No. Because I've been busy these past couple of weeks. I haven't. And then I have to, host these podcasts. Like,
Gosh, I know. Gosh, sorry for taking you away from.
Yeah, it's teasing me right now, just in the other room. So I've probably done about 2.5 hours, but I've tried all of the different formats, and it's fun so far. It's fun so far.
Good. But
the All-Star game was last night, but before we get to that, I think we have to start the Home Run Derby. I don't know about you, Leroy.
Me neither, Paul.
I watched a total of 0 seconds of the Home Run Derby.
I watched a minute 23.
Okay. I did watch that. And that's really, I think, the only thing people are talking about. Like, was it Teoscar Hernandez that won?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
But
there were a lot of people that were upset about, and I haven't looked to see, but there were a lot of people that were upset over the new changes in the rules for this year's Home Run Derby. There was a pitch count, but there was also a time limit, and there was a bunch of other stuff that was thrown in there as well. And there were a lot of people that were upset over how that went.
But really, the story of it, the event is irrelevant to what everything else everybody is talking about, and that was the national anthem by somebody who I had never heard of.
She's a Grammy, 4-time Grammy loser. 4-time Grammy loser.
I don't even know. Okay, so the first thing off, he did. Good for him. I was busy. I didn't have the time to do it. She comes out. She says, I was drunk. I'm checking myself into rehab.
Great.
Do you buy it?
No. Listen, I'm going to sound like a real a-hole, and that's fine. I'll be the 41-year-old a-hole around here yelling at the clouds. But I just want to say, Whitney Houston was high on crack like all the time. She still performed well. Just saying. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just, you know what? The issue comes in, and we talked a little bit about this with some of my buddies. You think about how many times she had to have sung for somebody in order to get approved. And then just to go in there and completely butcher it, like at some point, Major League Baseball really probably should have, I'm surprised that they didn't record it earlier and just have her lip sync. Honestly, I'm really surprised that they didn't just kind of have a version already set up for her to sing along with.
I don't know if it was one of those things that she might have actually been drunk in the realm of they did a sound check. You know that. They did a sound check and checked everything. So you'd think that, and Leroy's gone. And Leroy's back. Good? Somebody try to call you or something?
No, I don't know what the heck happened. Everything was fine, and all of a sudden you sped up. They did a sound check and what?
So you would think that they would have done a sound check beforehand.
Yeah.
And you'd have thought that somebody would have been like,
yeah. Yeah.
So that's what almost makes me wonder, is the quote-unquote drunk thing something legitimate?
Well, and two things crossed my mind. In a world where nobody knew who she was, now everybody knows her name. Okay?
And so that's the saddest part is that people always think of the worst national anthems. You can think of a list.
It could be a publicity stunt to get her name out there. The other part of me goes, she went to rehab because she was embarrassed, or said she was going to rehab because she was so embarrassed over how much flack she got. And really, I think it's one of those two. It's either this or that. Because there's no way. And Christy messaged me before, like afterwards. She's like, Like, she's drunk before the game even starts. Like, at least wait until the first pitch and then get hammered. Speak of the devil.
That was Leroy that said that, Christy. That was not me. I do not classify you as that. But that's what also makes me wonder is, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Well, it feels more staged than a certain Pennsylvania event.
Okay, we have said we are not talking about politics on this podcast. Your father is wearing off on you too much. Your father is wearing off on you too much now. If you're going to start bringing up politics in this podcast, I will ban you right now. I've always wondered, I have the ability to ban from the studio. And I've always been curious if that means that, like, you can never join again, or if it's just this
I'm
link.
gonna put a fake name. I'm gonna be like K-Man or something.
We won't be able to tell you. Christopher says, Leroy, my deaf dog could bark better than that national anthem.
That's true.
And could do it.
That's true. Shaw, man, how you been, bud? Good to see you, buddy. That's an Army buddy of mine.
Yeah, I saw he's got your emoji on there.
Yep.
The All-Star game as a whole, I watched 0 pitches of it. I was at a 7-on-7 football game, couldn't get back in time. I wasn't able to watch it. Yes, I wasn't able to watch any of it. Doesn't seem like I really missed a lot.
What's great is, we've talked before about how great sometimes being mic'd up in the game is. And how, especially in spring training, the mic'd up is fantastic. I'm not really a big fan of it during the season, but the All-Star game, it was awesome because he hit that home run and Judge kind of just stood there like, well, that's a homer. Like basically just like, I'm not even gonna move. Like, that's a homer. I don't know. I just think it's awesome seeing these guys. And like they showed Shoda. They did Shoda mic'd up. And they were like, Shody, you need to warm up. And he's like, hold on, I'm watching Skeen's pitch. Hold on. It's so great watching these guys have the high respect for other pitchers and other players. I mean, listen, this is greatness appreciating greatness out there. And it's so awesome to see them fanboy for other players that are there. And Shoda was absolutely fangirling like crazy for Paul Skeens.
Yeah, it was like Ellie De La Cruz. He said, I want to learn Japanese so I can talk to Shohei.
Yeah. Ellie, nice Louis Vuitton shoes. That was great. Good job.
Yeah, I love all the fashion with it. But speaking of fashion, something tells me, I don't know, I might be wrong, that Leroy has a strong opinion about the All-Star Game uniforms. I just feel like that's something he is very passionate about. Oh, wait, that's right. There were only, 35 posts you made on Facebook about it?
Was it number 2 on my... I did not make 35 posts about it.
Maybe it was the comments combined.
Comments. I did comment a lot on it in our... Mac Talk group, yes. It's only like third on my list of things to talk about. Now Manfred came out and said, "Look, we know that a lot of the players are upset with the
your mic." And I'm not sure if it's just me. If it's just me, then I can live with it. But I don't even know how to describe it. But try and start over again. But it sounds, it's very staticky. And into the comment section, if it's just me, then I'll live with it. But to the comment section, I'm not sure if you have, like, if something is underneath of it causing some feedback, but it sounds a little bit weird. And during that point,
I had my phone on a stand so that I could. Let's try
it's
this.
Still there just a little bit, but it's not. Let's try it now. Okay, he is very robot.
I'm very robot? Okay. Great. That's fantastic. Someday I'll be able to have a good, decent podcast, but clearly it's not today. This is so stupid.
It is. He really does, Christy. He doesn't miss you. He misses your computer. It's that aspect of it.
What was I talking about?
We were talking about the baseball uniforms.
So, Yes, I do have a strong opinion about the uniforms because listen, when I'm watching the All-Star game, I don't want to zoom in and have to stare at their jersey or their, to figure out what team they are and try to look. And there was literally nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with teams wearing their own jerseys. You want to have an American League or National League hat? Fine. That's completely fine. But there was nothing wrong at all with them wearing their team jerseys. It was nice to see on their team pictures, like all the Diamondback players. Where do you think I work? Sam, you better tell him.
You make more money than I do.
Shut up. You're no help. That's
Actually, you make
4 jobs.
You make quite a bit more money than I do. Technically speaking.
No, but
Leroy's rich.
Am I wrong? Comment section. Am I wrong? It's nicer to see the uniforms than to see that drab, stupid whatever they were wearing out there on the olive or the turquoise. Looked more like a Marlins game than it did a Rangers game as far as the uniforms go. I don't know, man. I just feel like we're messing with stuff just to mess with it. And if it's making the game better, that's one thing. This doesn't make the game better.
You know what it's for, right?
Money. It's always about money. Because they can make money off of American League jerseys. Piss off.
Yep,
piss all the way off.
The reason. Now, I do think, wear your Reds jersey. Wear the Reds jersey. And I saw one of these suggestions made, and I don't remember if it was a player that suggested it, a beat writer, or whomever said, okay, they wear their uniforms, but if they want to wear their City Connect jersey, they can do that. And I think that would be kind of fun to see them all in their City Connect or that aspect with it, like get the all black Reds. But I'm fine with the All-Star Game hat, like where it's themed. I know, like the Reds when they did it, it was just 2 red stripes, like the themed hat. I'm fine with that. I think that's cool. But and how much of it though last night was that the jerseys just sucked?
I've been saying the jerseys have sucked all year. This whole Fanatics trade over has been awful. Been awful. And again, I'm all for the weird other jerseys. I was saying for years that I wish the Cubs had a better alternate jersey than the blue walking Cub that they had. I've never been a fan of the Cubs alternate jersey. I just don't like it. I would love to. I like Chicago City Connect jerseys. I like those Friday City Connect jerseys that they were. It's one of the few City Connect jerseys I think is not completely ridiculous. But
how do you feel about the Reds?
I like the Reds. Yeah, I like the Reds. But
it's growing on me.
It's one of those things where, again, we have to stop. And I know what I'm saying. Stop it. We have to stop letting money dictate everything we do. We do. I'm sorry. We have to stop.
Listen, you're not going to have me disagree with you.
We have to stop letting cash and revenue. You all are going to make a ton of money at the All-Star Game anyway. At the end of the day, it doesn't make the game better. I'm all for everyone making money. Hell, I haven't said a word about putting sponsors on the jerseys, which I also think is stupid, but I understand revenue. Okay?
I'm fine with that since it's so small.
Right. But again, like I said, I haven't even gone on that whole tirade about
but
purity.
Then again,
purity with,
you could say your favorite sport or one of your favorite sports. I'm not sure
golf.
There is
it's all sponsors.
Literally, there is not a open spot of paint that doesn't have a sponsor logo on there.
Yeah, it would not. But see, it would not survive without sponsors.
Yeah, and I don't know. It is interesting with that. The sponsor doesn't necessarily bother me, but I am fine with the All-Star Game jerseys, though, during the Home Run Derby. I'm fine with that.
Yeah?
I'm fine with that. But I agree with you during the game itself. Just stick with what works. Have the road teams. If they want to wear the City Connects, they can wear the City Connects. And if they want to wear like the Reds, want to wear their alternate red jersey, go for it. Like, let's have fun. Let's show off all the different jerseys in the game. If a Cubs player makes it, and Imanaga wanted to wear the blue jersey because that's his favorite, knock yourself out. I just think with that aspect, but I do agree that the jerseys last night were rough. They were rough.
But again, the jerseys have been rough all year long. This has been an absolute failure on Fanatics, Nike, all the people that were responsible for the jerseys this year. This is a big case study in 10, 15 years from now on, just how much of a disaster this has been. Hockey is getting Fanatic next year. And I'm really curious to see in a physical contact sport how these jerseys hold up. Because let's face it, they haven't held up in baseball at all.
Oh, yeah. Ellie's ripped his pants a couple of times. Paul says bring back some old school jerseys from certain years to let the player that represent those teams wear them. Tribute to the older teams and eras. That would be cool. I agree, Paul. The Reds did that when they celebrated their 150th anniversary back in 2019. They had like 12 different uniforms from all of the different eras. It was awesome.
Have they stopped doing the celebrity softball tournament?
No, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. And they usually replay it because I think it's on Sunday nights. I think it's after the Futures game. But I did see a post from, it was one of the Cincinnati media outlets, and now I want to say Lance McAllister, who is a radio personality in Cincinnati. I want to see if I can find it here. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I think he makes some good points. And we brought up some of his posts before because I don't know. I think he's very intelligent with the way he thinks of things sometimes. So he says here, my annual plea for change. Major League Baseball is dark today. No games tonight or tomorrow, Major or Minor League Baseball. Why? Again, this game misses a golden marketing opportunity. MLB could play the Futures game tonight. What a way to follow up the current stars shining in last night's All-Star game. Fox could have spent 3 hours plugging the event during the All-Star game, doing interviews with prospects and such. Instead, they jammed the Futures game into the Saturday afternoon slot along with 11 other games. Did you even know that they played the Futures game? It should be a stand-alone game. It could be the kickoff to All-Star Week starting on a Sunday night or the wrap-up event on a Wednesday or a Thursday. He even says, how about what if we do an All-Star break over a weekend and say, okay, Friday night is the Futures game. Saturday night is the Home Run Derby. Sunday night is the MLB All-Star game. Monday night is the start of the MLB draft, and then the schedule starts on Tuesday. So the teams are off Thursday to Tuesday.
You know what game I want back? The Old Timers game. The Old Timers game. There used to be, way back when, an Old Timers game where the guys that played before come back and play like a 3-inning, 5-inning game. And I think that would be fantastic to get a lot of the guys that have retired to come back, get 18 guys who have, they don't even need to be Hall of Famers. They just need to be like, think about how great, like when they have the old timers come to I know we do a Cubs Cardinals game here in Springfield where they call Cubs veterans and Cardinals veterans to come and play a 9-inning game together. And it's a lot of the smaller, not as, well-known players, but think about how great I know that. Think about how great watching, having a game with Ken Griffey Jr. out there and I'm trying to think of some of the older guys that would love Ozzie Smith and some of the guys from the 90s and 2000s and how great it would be to watch them play one more game together and, have that old timers game. It doesn't need to be that crazy, but
I mean, we got to see the white version of Sammy Sosa and see if he can still hit.
Oh, yeah.
Too soon?
A little bit. I like Sammy. Come on.
Listen, I love Sammy Sosa. He was one of my favorite players. But if you've seen him recently,
he is a little white, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's wider than us, and that's hard. That's hard. That's really hard. MLB, we're not really at the halfway point. Technically, we're past the halfway point, but we're really at the halfway point. We're at the break. First half's done. Second half is moving on. Leroy, if the season would have been done, your playoffs would have been Guardians, Orioles, Mariners, Yankees, Twins, Red Sox, Phillies, Dodgers, Brewers, Braves, Cardinals, Mets would have been the All-Star game.
The Mets?
The Mets would have been in as the last
Mets?
team. Correct.
Oh my goodness.
So now what we're gonna do is let's go through and let's predict these divisions again. The AL East, Leroy, who's gonna win the AL East?
That's gonna be, you know what? I gotta go with Baltimore.
I'm agreeing. I think Baltimore wins it. Yankees have been scuffling over these last couple of weeks, and I think you're gonna know about the Yankees August 1.
Yeah,
because if they come out of the All-Star break firing, I mean, they're probably up and down the best team, but I think the Orioles are going to win the division.
They've got a 1-game lead on the Yankees right now, but I just can't see in the game of longevity, I don't know if the Yankees have enough to keep up with that youth movement. Plus, the Orioles only have like 2 years left before they have to send all of their players to other teams. So it's all or nothing for the Orioles this year.
The AL Central.
Oh, worst division in baseball? Yeah. Oh, man.
See, Leroy, you're taking the White Sox to win the division, right?
Clearly. Let's see, Guardians have a 4.5 lead on the Twins. How?
I'm going to keep the Guardians.
I'll go with the Twins. I think the Twins fight back and get that division.
I think the Guardians will do it. I just love Jose Ramirez. To me, he is the best player in the game that nobody talks about.
Hard to disagree with you on that.
He's the best player in the game that nobody talks about, and he never gets the credit for being as good as he is. The AL West, the Mariners currently have a 1-game lead over the Astros. The Astros really sucked to start the year, and over the last 6 weeks have made things interesting. The defending champions are 5 games out.
Nothing like baseball and the Mariners collapsing down the stretch, huh?
The Mariners were
sorry, Avery. Sorry, Avery.
The Mariners were my pick to win the division at the start of the season, so I'm going to stick with them. I think the Mariners do it.
You do?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to be different. Say the Astros come back and pick up the division win.
Pick the A's, you coward.
You picked the A's.
I'm a coward. I'm not going to do that. The NL East, the Phillies have an 8.5-game lead over the Atlanta Braves.
Imagine being 11 games over 500 and still being 8 games out of first.
8.5 games out of first. Leroy, if we're saying, Reds are only 8 games out of first place. So clearly,
proving yet again that the NL Central is the best division in all of baseball.
By definition, though, since the Reds are only 8 games out of first place and the Braves are 8.5 games out of first place, the Reds are a better team than the Braves, right?
Clearly.
And the Cubs are 8.5 games out of first, so therefore the Cubs and the Braves are the same team. I think that's how it works. The Phillies will win this division.
Paul is cussing at you somewhere. I'm just telling you right now. Like, man is yelling at his phone.
Are you taking the Phillies? Or the Braves going to have anything to say about it?
Philly? No, there's no way. Philly's got this all day and Sunday.
Marlins? No love?
No mas.
The NL, we'll go to the West. We'll come back to the Central.
Please, thank you.
Dodgers.
Yeah, you know what? I love my D-backs, but there's no way. Dodgers got this.
The NL Central.
Do you have a coin anywhere?
The NL Central. Well, Paul, a week from today, the Reds will be wrapping up a series in Atlanta. I think the Brewers do it. It surprises me, but I think the Brewers will end up winning the division.
Ugh. Ugh.
Are you going to do what I think you're going to do?
What do you think I'm going to do?
Are you going to puke in your mouth when you say this?
I
Oh my goodness.
I think the Cardinals are going to win the division.
You know what? 1 second. You're being put in timeout for 5 seconds. He's being put in timeout for 5 seconds. And I think he's going to agree with this, that he deserves to be put into timeout for 5 seconds. Okay. Have you learned your lesson? You deserved your 5-second timeout. Did you not?
I deserved it 100%. I deserved it.
He does look like he ate 5.5 hot dogs again.
Oh my gosh. Listen, if you told me any of those teams won the division at the end of the year, if you were like, hey, I've seen the future, the Cubs win the division, or I've seen the future, the Pirates win the division, there is not a single team in this division that you could not prove that they could win. It's really bizarre because they're all winning games they shouldn't win and losing games they shouldn't lose. The Brewers have no business being as good as they are right now because of how beat up they are. They are hurt like nobody's business. And they have a really tough next couple months. Their July and August schedule is insane.
Do the Cubs make the playoffs?
No. But, and I'll tell you right now, and you can put this on your little, this is being recorded, so we have this. I don't think the Cubs sell or buy.
I think the Reds will be very similar.
I think the Cubs stand pat and say, "Well, we won 8 out of our last 11. We're right there. You know, we're only
8.5.
8.5 games out of first. We can come back and do this."
But maybe last place.
Right. But they don't see it that way, and that's the stuff that irritates me. They've won 8 out of their last 11, so clearly they're on the up and up.
The Reds are in a really weird spot too, because they're beat up. Matt McClain, though, apparently is going to be going on a rehab assignment in early August, but still, he's coming back from shoulder surgery, so you really don't know what he's going to be like. Rhys Hines has been unbelievable for the Reds. Unbelievable. He won MLB Player of the Week as a rookie.
Very good player. Very good player. Had a very good week.
And I'll tell you, and we've talked, I don't know if we've ever really talked about this specifically on their podcast. Is there anything cooler than when an MLB player makes his debut?
Nope. I do like, and I know you don't watch it, but I do like hockey. They let him skate by themselves. Like they all pretend to go out there, and then they let him skate by himself and do their own laps to warm up before the game starts. But no, I don't think there's anything cooler than.
And I always love it where they interview the parents, and like as a dad or something.
The one Cubs pitcher brought his family on the field, and I've never seen more happier people in my life.
It is just, yeah, Rhys Hines is on pace to break Barry Bonds' record in 2029. He's had 5 home runs in his first 6 games or 7 games or however many he played. 7 games last week. It's just so cool to see all of the hard work in baseball, especially because, you know, even in hockey and basketball and football, not that you don't work, but if you're drafted, for the most part, you go straight to the profession. You're in the big leagues. But in baseball, it is so rare. I mean, Paul Skeens is unheard of, and he still spent 3 months in the minors. You know, between last year and this year, it is. And so
unfortunately, because of Paul Skeens, there's a lot of people that look at minor leaguers and go, "Well, let's just call him up too. It don't work like that normally, guys. Paul Skeens is the outlier, not the he's the exception, not the rule.
Leroy, okay, here we go. Who wins the American League?
The Orioles.
I've been considering that. And see, the Orioles last year, I remember when we were talking about that, I predicted them. I don't remember who knocked them out in the playoffs first round. I don't remember, but I remember we differed on whatever it was. And you picked the Orioles to win, and I picked the other team. I don't even remember who it was that they played. And my reasoning is because young teams very rarely win their first series.
Correct.
And what I'm fascinated by is, does the youth, has that gone away when it comes to the postseason?
I think a lot of it will determine who they pick up at the trade deadline. If they are able to get some veteran guys who know what the World Series is, who know what it's like to win in October, that will make all the difference in the world. They don't need to trade for depth. The Orioles don't need to trade for depth. The Orioles need to trade for veteran leadership. If they're able to do that, they should be able to get the American League championship.
And I agree. I think the AL pennant goes to the Orioles. But it would not shock me. I think the Guardians are second. Just because I love Jose Ramirez, and they can pitch like none other. I mean, Clase, the closer, he's phenomenal. The NL.
Phillies beat the Dodgers in 6.
Yeah, honestly, that sounds pretty close to what I was going to say as well. And I think the Phillies and the Orioles are probably two of the better teams.
Come on, that would be a great World Series. Philadelphia, Baltimore.
Right by one another.
I'm not a big East Coast guy, but that would be a fantastic World Series.
And I'll say the Phillies win the World Series. Sorry.
God, I hate the Phillies. Ugh. What's the record?
62-34.
58-38, 62-34.
They're the only team with 60 wins right now.
I'll go with the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, Ranger Suarez though, Paul. I don't know. I think it's to be a fascinating stretch because I mean, you look at these wild card for both of these, and I think this is a good spot for us to close before we jump into the next segment here. I mean, especially in the National League. I mean, you have the Cubs are 3.5 games out of the last wild card spot, but in front of them are 5 teams.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it is.
But again, that's going to be their argument. Look, this second wild card has ruined the trade deadline because all of these teams.
There's 3 wild cards.
Right. All of these teams feel that they are right there and that they are ridiculously close. Oh, we're right there. We can do it. We're right there. This second wild card has just thrown, or third wild card has just thrown a complete loop into everything because all these teams feel, right. You're not right there. Stop it. You're not winning at all. Stop it.
Okay, Paul, if you say that the Phillies don't have the pitching to win it, what's your World Series right now then? What's your World Series right now? Who wins and so on? Hey, Jason, appreciate you taking the time to watch. And while he does that, you want to jump into a little Who Am I here? Since I didn't get the chance to do it last week because I just didn't prepare for it.
Yeah.
Okay, Who Am I? If you've never played this, I have got 6 clues. You just got to tell me who I am. It's a pretty simple game. I am an athlete, a professional athlete. Are you ready?
Ready.
I played for 22 seasons in the MLB for 2 teams. I played 22 seasons in the MLB for 2 different teams. I was drafted by the LA Kings in the 1984 NHL draft, but chose baseball?
Tom Glavine.
You bastard. I wasn't sure if you would have known that or not. You did know that. Wow.
Braves and Mets. And the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah, okay.
Only player to ever be drafted in both sports.
Okay. So Paul knew that as well. Okay. So both of you got that. I'm curious, would you have gotten it if it was just this? I am the last pitcher to win 20-plus games in 3 straight seasons.
Nope.
I battled multiple weird injuries in my late career, including losing my front teeth in a taxi accident and losing feeling in my ring finger of my pitching hand.
I remember the ring finger. I don't remember him losing his teeth in the taxi cab accident.
Correct. I share a birthday with a co-host from the Pressbox.
With you.
With me. I was the MVP of the 1995 World Series.
I'd be like, David Justice played for more than 2 teams.
David Justice, Thomas More. Paul says he remembers the ring finger.
I love Dave Justice. Oh my goodness.
Kentucky's own. Tidbits, Leroy.
All right, let's get to it. We got a lot of them because I've had to catch up in the last couple of weeks because I had computer issues last week. So we've got some stuff from before. All right, starting off, there are 1,333 of these high schools that have the same team name. The Eagles are the most used name in high school sports with 1,333. Topping out the top 5, it's Eagles, Tigers, Panthers, Bulldogs, and Wildcats. Cougars, Knights, Mustangs, Trojans, and Spartans are on there quite a bit as well. As far as, sharing the same name as the Power 5 university. I should have clarified, sorry. So, if
it's probably the same thing.
Yeah. Which is crazy because the only Eagles in all of college in the Power 5 is Boston College. They're the only Eagles team. There's 4 Tigers, 3 Bulldogs, and 5 Wildcats.
Imagine being a fan of a Wildcat college.
I know. Who does that? My goodness. How far of the fall of grace from the 2021 White Sox lineup from their ALDS Game 1? Tim Anderson, unemployed. Yoan Moncada, always hurt. Jose Abreu, unemployed. Ismael Grandal, completely washed. Luis Robert Jr., pretty good. Eloy Jimenez, always hurt. Gavin Sheets, meh. Adam Engel, out of baseball. Lurie Garcia, AAA. That was 3 years ago. That's insane how fast that team fell off from being a top-of-the-line team to not even being close to being relevant.
Why does it seem like you're not feeling bad for them at all?
I think it's amazing.
Jerk.
We might have talked about this last time, but I'm going to bring it up again. Why doesn't MLB hold their All-Star game on the 4th of July? And again, I know we talked about that last week, but again, I just want to bring that up again. I think it would be perfect to have their All-Star game 4th of July weekend. All right, what else we got for you? We got the MLB draft was this week. Do we care about the MLB draft?
I did because the Reds picked second.
I can't remember. I think the Kerry Wood draft.
Mark Fire. Sorry.
That's right. That is right. That's right. Tell him, Mike. Yes.
Percentage chance the Cubs actually win the division, let alone win the pennant.
I think it's like 15.
No. You think you're giving the Cubs a 15% chance to win the division?
I think that's what I saw on one of the.
I'm asking you.
Oh, what I think?
Yes.
10%.
Percentage chance they win the pennant.
2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be high on that. All right. What else we got? Rob Manfred has announced that spring training will most likely have robot umps next year, and looking to figure out ways to implement that throughout the season. But yeah, also MLB has announced that they're looking into trading draft picks in the future in Major League Baseball. Something that they're trying to figure out ways to make that work, I guess.
The Cubs have traded the 20th pick in the 19th round to,
Pretty awful. Caleb Williams, Real Madunze have signed their contracts. I would just like to point out once again that whether or not you think Caleb Williams is good is irrelevant. He hasn't taken a snap in the NFL. We don't know if he's good or not.
You know who's
But
a
we
big
do
Caleb
know-
Williams guy? Who's a big Caleb Williams? You know what I learned as a big Caleb Williams fan?
Who?
Paul Reeves.
Oh, Paul loves Caleb.
I think he
Paul's
thinks he's
hard.
Tom Brady. Like
100%.
They're pretty much the same player.
With that being said, literally none of the rumors that came out about him over the offseason come true at all. None of them.
Can I be honest? What were the rumors? Like, I didn't hear them.
Oh, that he wasn't going to sign with the Bears. He was going to pull an Eli Manning. That he was. What do you mean you haven't heard them? Shut up.
No, legitimately, I hadn't heard any of this. Like I had not heard, but that's not something that crosses my radar as far as.
Yeah. So the rumors were that he wasn't going to sign with Chicago. That he was a big diva. That he wasn't. Don't care. Here's the deal. Caleb Williams can be the most average quarterback in the world, and that is completely fine with me as long as, guess what? He doesn't throw an interception in the fourth quarter. That's all he needs to do. Be an average quarterback and not throw an interception in the fourth quarter. Does that ask too much?
I cannot wait for who do the Bears play in their first game?
Tennessee.
I cannot wait until he throws a pick with 2 minutes left and just to log on to Bears Twitter and just read it.
Is your quarterback going to play more than 5 games this year? All right, taking a look at some other stuff here today.
Now that was uncalled for.
Was it uncalled for?
Called for, you jackwagon. Paul's the one really taking shots.
Paul's always been taking shots at me, man. Caitlin Clark. All right, we need the WNBA music. Hit it.
Where it is. There it is.
Yeah, there's that gay music. All right, Caitlin Clark has broke a record. The WNBA single game assist record, 19 assists today. But I heard that all she did was score points. I don't know what this whole assist thing is. So great job on her part. Speaking of WNBA, the WNBA has signed a new media deal, massive media deal for the WNBA. Huge deal for them. I forget what the numbers are, but it's going to set the WNBA up quite well. Thanks, Caitlin Clark. Angela Reese had her double-double streak snap at, I think she had 9 games in a row with the double-double, to the point where they were like 4 Liberty guarding her to make sure that she didn't score.
I saw that.
And which, by the way, that was the worst layup attempt I've ever. I'm pretty sure that one of my Jazz players could have made a better layup attempt than what Angela Reese.
Stretching maybe just a smidge.
Am I though? All right.
Do we need to pull the film out again? Where's the music? The music went away.
That's fine. That's our WNBA talk.
Okay, good.
If you don't feel old, I'm here to help you. Bronny James, D'Angelo Ortiz, David Ortiz's kid, Frank Gore Jr., Frank Gore's kid, and Lucas Ramirez, Manny Ramirez's kid, all have been drafted this year. You're old. Also, ESPN has released.
Who are you calling old?
ESPN has released their greatest athletes of the 21st century.
Michael Phelps, Usain
we
Bolt.
We don't have the top 25 yet. Those are going to be released tomorrow and Friday. We're up to number 26. So I'll read a couple of these. I'm not going to read the whole list, obviously, but I'm going to read a few of these. Peyton Manning at 26, Randy Moss at 27, Jokic at 28, Michael Schumacher at 29, Mike Trout at 30, Clayton Kershaw at 31. Let's see, Dwayne Wade at 35, Ichiro 37, Bonds 38.
So this is okay. Right
greatest
now,
athletes of the 21st century. I ask you.
Well, no, let's do this together and let's see if we can get the top 5 in no order.
Okay.
The 5 players that'll be on there. Michael Phelps.
Right. Yep.
I think is on there. Usain Bolt.
Yep.
Love him or hate him, LeBron.
Yep.
Yep. He'll be on there.
Yeah.
Simone Biles.
Possibly. Got to be in the top 2. Got to be in the top 20. Serena Williams.
That's a good one. But you also have Djokovic. Should we just say a tennis tiger?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Paul too. Brady.
Oh yeah, Brady will be way up there. And whether or not you like it, probably Lewis Hamilton, F1 racer, probably be on there as well.
Jimmy Johnson.
So potentially, yeah. I mean, you think about how great he was for a while there.
7 championships.
Do you know who number 100 is? I will give you a hint. It is a football player and a Hall of Famer.
Okay, that narrows it down to only,
He's a 9-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro. Was the 2009 Defensive Player of the Year. And spent most of his career with the Oakland Raiders.
Warren Sapp?
Nope.
Raiders? Woodson?
Yep. Woodson at 100, Ed Reed at 99, Connor McDavid at 98, some guy from cricket at 97, and Darrell Rivas at 96. Aaron Rodgers is at 91.
It seems a little low, in all seriousness. That's a tough list.
That's what I thought. Venus Williams, 86. Kawhi Leonard at 85. Chris Paul, 83. Cheryl Stoops, 81. Bryce Harper, 79. Yeah, Mookie Betts at 73. Jason Kidd at 69. Nice. All right. And rumor that Bill Belichick wants to return to coaching so he can pursue the all-time wins record.
I don't think that's any surprise.
No, I don't think so either, but that made the news today. All right, there's our tidbits. Which
means it's time to cue the music. Will this be the week? Leroy, you are now hitting Leroy's Logos 389. You've gotten 2 out of 4 in 4 of the last 5 weeks. 4 of the last 5 weeks. It is still Throwback Month. Or Throwback Summer.
Let me minimize my comments over here so I can focus on this.
I mean, Paul Reeves is the only one playing. I'm not really sure that's going to help you that much, if we're being honest. I mean, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which one would you like first?
2.
Oh, man. I tell you, I'm being way too nice.
Dang it, you are such a jerk.
I am being way too nice to you. Way too nice to you on this.
Wow.
This one is from the 60s. Again, Leroy's just got to tell me what throwback school this is. At least when I gave these to Mick earlier, he said this one I was being way too nice. You know what it looks like to me?
What?
It looks like a Looney Tunes character.
You know what's funny? I was just saying, it looks like one of the dogs from that's going to steal your money while he's hugging you.
Mm-hmm.
In the Disney movie, yeah, absolutely.
What are you thinking?
Though, I'm not. Is Nevada the wolf pack? You've been. Nebraska's the corn hot. No, it's not fucking Nebraska.
And it's an explicit podcast now. Paul, I'm sorry. I am sorry Leroy just did that to your poor ears. There are children maybe watching this podcast. What would your boss say if he heard that?
No, forget my boss. What would my dad say? Oh. Goodness. Failure on all parts.
First, the finger. And now that. Alrighty, we need an answer. 1, 2, 3. No, you've already guessed. What is this?
I'm going to kick myself afterwards because I don't remember what it is. I will go with Nevada.
What did you say?
Nevada.
What did we tell you last week? And that is your final answer?
To go with my gut.
It pays off.
Wow.
Nevada.
Oh my goodness.
Nevada. Mick said I was too nice leaving a U of N. If I would have gotten rid of that, was there any chance you would have gotten it?
Yeah, I mean, I would have gone no, because I probably would have gone like University of Baltimore or something like, that was BMC, UMBC.
The Retrievers.
Yeah.
1, 3, or 4 now on Leroy's logos.
4.
4.
Another tiger. Oh my goodness.
You just mentioned that there are, 5 tigers?
I did.
So you got a 1 in 5 chance. 20%.
What year?
I didn't mark this one. I think we're the 80s. I'll check here. This was their logo from 1980 to 1995.
Okay.
So you were alive during this stretch.
It looks very LSU-ish. I'm going to go with LSU.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Does this make you feel better or worse?
I don't know, but it looks very LSU-ish. Like the LSU tiger looks very similar. The eyes wide open like that.
How about Paul Reeves correctly predicting Missouri? The Missouri Tigers. You could still get 3 out of 4, though, this week. Would you like 1 or 3 next?
1.
Speaking of Looney Tunes characters.
Oh, my goodness. Now, that is a...
This one is from 1955. I believe you were playing T-ball when this logo was used.
They were ranked that year. One of the last times they were ranked until like the 90s. That's fantastic.
Interesting. What is your guess here, Leroy?
That is the Northwestern Wildcats.
That's your final answer?
Yes, sir.
You got the wrong purple Wildcats.
Is that Kansas State?
It is Kansas State.
I hate you so much.
Kansas State Wildcats. Northwestern, all of their throwback logos are literally NU. Like they were not like they have not strayed too far away from that. Okay,
They had it.
I am not that nice too. I don't think I am. But I am maybe nice on giving you this one from the 1950s, the final one of Leroy's logos this week. It's a mean-looking dog.
That is a mean-looking dog. D-O-G-W. D-O-W-G.
What did you spell?
I couldn't spell nothing. What do you want from me?
D-O-G-W?
Go away.
You need another
I
mic.
was trying to do like 8 things at once, and it didn't work.
What is this
at
one?
all. That's Georgia.
Final. Correct. 2 out of 4 this week. Again, 4 straight weeks at 2 out of 4, hitting 391 right now. Somebody is messaging me. Is this you? Are you sending me Northwestern's history?
I am. Because you said they don't stray too far from their end, but those are all cats.
Yeah, but if I gave you one of those, you would know immediately it was Northwestern.
That cat looked really familiar.
2 out of 4, though, this week. We're going to jump into some play clock here, where we've got 40 seconds to answer a question that the other person knows nothing about. Would you like to ask or answer first? We're getting ready to jump into some NASCAR, where the pick contest has gotten quite interesting. Would you like to ask or answer?
I will ask first.
Alrighty, I am ready.
Well, this made the rounds today, and I feel like a year ago we asked this question. I'm going to ask this question again. You have 6 championships to divvy up among your favorite sports teams. How are you splitting them up?
4 Bengals, 2 Reds.
You're not giving any of your college anything?
No. Because I think Kentucky basketball can do it without it. I've also experienced the Kentucky basketball national championship in 2012, so I've at least had that. The college football one wouldn't mean as much. I was very much considering going 6 to the Bengals, just because I'm thinking if you're telling me this is in the next period, that would put the Bengals as one of the greatest franchises in NFL history and put Joe Burrow as one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, which would be phenomenal for me to experience. So, Paul, you say 2-2-2. So loud. So is that 2 Braves?
I'm right here, man.
2 Braves, 2 Cowboys. I don't know what the other one is. 2 Bears. I know Paul's a big Bears fan.
Big Caleb Williams fan.
Phillies. I don't really know who else is on that list. How would you go?
Northwestern football championship, Northwestern basketball championship, 2 Cubs, 1 Bulls, and 1 Bear.
Sorry, Blackhawks.
I've seen the Blackhawks win 3 times. I'm all right.
Before I ask this question, I want to Braves, Cowboys, and Bulls. So he's doing 2-2-2. Well, heck, you don't even need to do 2 to the Bulls then, since Paul's got you covered there. So you're safe.
Sweet.
Who is this is not your question. This is just for you. Is Walter Payton the greatest Bear of all time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the greatest running back of all time.
Okay.
Great. Great.
What does Caleb Williams need to do to pass Walter Payton as the greatest Bear of all time?
Really not that much. Win a couple Super Bowls and throw more than 4,000 yards in a season. You know, and we all laugh, but like there really is not that much that this man needs to do to really solidify himself as a huge icon in Chicago. When Jay Cutler is the greatest quarterback in your franchise's history, I mean, that's saying something right there. Love Jay, but Jay was above average quarterback. That's it. He doesn't need to do much to be an icon in Chicago. Now, to be the greatest of all time, yeah, he's going to need to put a little bit of work in there, but you know, it's.
I saw that question, and this was exactly how the question was phrased, and I found it fascinating. Fascinating. Because it's just interesting. And they had Walter Payton, and I wanted to make sure that Walter Payton was the greatest Bear of all time.
I mean, what would you like? I mean, I know I can't really ask this, but what would Joe Burrow need to do to be the greatest Cincinnati player of all time?
See, it's so hard because it's different because the greatest Bengal of all time is a left tackle.
Right.
So it's
which again, doesn't that say something when your best player is a guy who never touches the football?
Yes, but when he's arguably the greatest left tackle of all time.
Well, and again, that's no disrespect to him. Obviously, greatest of all time. But like at the same time, like, well, I won't disagree. I mean, Devin Nestor is amazing. It was so cool seeing him open up his jacket over the weekend. That was awesome. But no, I just find it interesting that. Yeah.
Okay, it's my turn to answer here.
What? What is the greatest
I don't know what's your question.
Drink of all time?
Oh my. Are you asking for something specific, or am I just going in general?
If you went to the bar and ordered a drink and they were like, "We want your greatest drink of all time," what are you ordering?
I mean, it just depends on, you could go beer, you could say that because there's some really good beers. I mean, drinking the champagne of beers right now, which is quite delicious. Bourbon and Coke. A bourbon and Coke, like not an expensive bourbon when it comes to that. Heck, even a Jack and Coke sometimes can be really good. But I'm from Kentucky, so you got to say at least something bourbon.
Right.
Something bourbon in there. Okay. I find this question interesting, and Paul, double bourbon or top shelf margarita. Now, I do like a margarita. I do like that every once in a while. I don't know whether this scenario actually happened or not, but I saw something posted either yesterday or the day before. It is SEC Media Days for football. And as you know, Nick Saban is no longer coach at Alabama.
Correct. So, and he ruffled some feathers.
I don't think this actually happened, but we will say for the purpose of the question that it actually did happen. That apparently Nick Saban went up to a security guard to get into SEC Media Days, but he did not have a credential. So I ask you, if you're the security guard and Nick Saban walks up to you trying to get into SEC Media Days, but does not have a credential, do you let him in?
All right. So I know that the cop-out answer is well, the security guard was just doing his job and he needed to stop everyone. Listen, I worked security before. I'll let anyone in. I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's Nick Saban. Everybody recognizes him, even if you're not really a big football guy. Everyone knows who Nick Saban is. I got no issues with letting him in. I'd let him in unless it was a Nick Saban lookalike.
How do you know it's actually him? Like, do you card him?
Do I card Nick Saban? No, I just think it'd be one of those things where I wouldn't believe it was actually in front, like running into like an IndyCar driver and being like, really? Yeah, all right, go on then. You're
somebody put that on social media, and I wasn't sure if it actually happened or not, but it just kind of made me laugh.
A lot of those security guards though aren't really big fans of their of sports or things like that. I know rock concerts and F1 races. Some of the drivers and some of the rock stars have been stopped and said, hey, you need a band. They're like, I'm with the band. Like I'm playing, and it's caused some issues before. A lot of the security guards just try to do their job and go home. I don't blame them.
Indeed, I found it funny if it actually would have happened. Alrighty. I assume since you're on your phone, you do not have drivers this week.
I do not have drivers this week. No drivers until August.
We jump into the NASCAR pick contest where things have gotten interesting, Leroy. Last week, they were at Pocono. And the winner was, I don't even remember who won.
It was a great race, by. Yeah.
This is why we need Chase. Was it Ryan Blaney?
Yeah.
Look at me go.
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney won at Pocono.
He held off Denny Hamlin.
Who was my pick? 54 points for myself. Leroy, you finally had a good week. Came away with 43 for picking Chase Elliott. Paul, you came away with 29 for picking Kyle Larson. And Chase picked Ross Crashdane and came away with a solid 1 point. Good job, bud. Good job. The standings right now, as we have 4 weeks left in our pick contest. In first place with 607 points, Paul Reeves. In second place with 604 points, 3 points behind, is myself. 3 points.
How many points behind? How many?
3. 3 points separate Paul and myself. In third place with 547, so just about 60 behind the leaders, is Chase Blaine. And in fourth place with 536 is Leroy. So that's the top 4. I mean, Luke, you have 110 points.
I tried to be too cute through most of the season. It cost me.
It is. Yes, you are right, Paul. The Kings have risen to the top.
What is with you, Reeve? Shut up.
But so
you've been going at me a lot, man.
The wildest part is you're not out of it, Leroy. You have 2 or 3 good weeks. You're back. Yeah, Luke, you have 110 points. You're only 497 behind with 4 weeks to go. Only 497 behind. So, race
right
here,
there,
race
man.
there.
Right
tough.
there.
Paul's just tough love. This week, they're at the Brickyard. They're at Indianapolis. And are you going to be able to go?
No.
Leroy will not be attending the Brickyard 400. I'm not putting that comment on the screen. That has.
You don't need to. You don't need to. No, I edited it. I edited it.
In fact, I might even just block that user. Or, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete that comment.
I'll repost it again.
I deleted that comment because we don't take swears in our comment section. Shame.
All right. That's fine. That's fine.
Take swears.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I got you.
I'm interested if did it actually delete? Now I'm actually curious. Did it actually delete it?
I still see it.
Okay. Luke, I'll delete you too. I don't care. I'll delete anybody I want. So they're at Indy this week. Paul's going to take Denny Hamlin. I'm going to take Kyle Larson.
Me too. Kyle Larson.
Damn it. Pick somebody else. You're going to put the curse on him. You're going to put the curse on him.
Deal with it. Kyle Larson already raced the Indy this year. Had a great job at the Oval. Taking him all day.
Now I almost want to change my pick because I feel like I'm going to get cursed here. Yeah, we did swap drivers because from last week. So you went with Larson. I picked with Hamlin. Luke's going to go with Chase Elliott. Again, only 497 points behind. I mean, he could do it. He could do it. And Chase, I'm sure, will send me a text message to who he picks. Because and that's the thing. Like, in all seriously, right? If Denny Hamlin gets last this week and Kyle Larson does really well, you're right back in it. I don't think I want to take Rusty Wallace, Paul. Something tells me he's not going to be great.
Kyle Petty doing any racing this weekend? Kenny Wallace?
Travis Quapple?
There's a name I have not heard in a long time. That's the old Wisconsin boy right there.
Jeremy Mayfield?
Hey.
Michael Waltrip?
He actually raced this weekend in North Carolina at one of the super modifieds, like the smaller series, and he won both races. What's funny though is he wears his old NASCAR uniform, like it's fire gear. So he always comes out with like most of his NASCAR champion, man.
You need to reach out and see if you can get him on.
I will do my best.
What's the worst thing he says?
Don't message me again.
I mean, if we're being honest, that message from him was only going to happen at some point. Like, it was going to happen at some point. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Let's face it. All right. I'm surprised he still talks to me. Okay.
How often do you talk to him?
Once a year. Maybe twice. Yeah.
And is it happy birthday?
Yeah. Yeah. But he usually says thank you, Leroy. I mean,
it's always cool though when you have people like that will take the time, especially like I remember. So Matt Jones, who I used to write KSR for.
Yeah.
I'm friends with him on Facebook. We don't really interact, but when I got hired to do center games, I made a post saying, "Hey, this happened," and he like commented and said, "Congratulations." And I was like, for taking 5 seconds, like that actually meant a lot.
Made your day, though.
Yeah,
that made your day.
Yeah, from somebody that I respect a lot, that took the time out of the day, and it's amazing on just the little things like that.
I always liked when when I would make show the drivers on Twitter when I make their cars for them, and they would like either repost it or comment how great that. Again, takes 3 seconds to do an interaction. It makes such a big deal.
Well, it's like I saw the video, and it's probably an older video when I saw it, but it was of it was after an NBA game, before an NBA game or something, but it was a kid with a Steph Curry jersey on, and he was standing underneath the stadium, and Steph Curry walks by, and he says, like, "Hey, Steph Curry, like, will you sign my jersey?" And he goes, "Yeah, come on over here." And he like comes over and he signs his jersey. Took 10 seconds. But you better believe that kid we'll
be talking about this 20 years from now.
And because, like I say, I've told this story before on this podcast, that the Bengal that avoided us when I went down there was John Kitna.
Yeah.
When he did that, I was 6, 7, 8 in that realm. And I still remember
ever since then, Sam Gormley has had a hit list with John Kitna's name at the top of it.
Absolutely, John Kitna's name is on it. But that's the thing it's like it's amazing the little things. But Domata Peko, who was a Bengal, he took the time and he signed our autograph. Took no time at all out of it. I mean, it took a couple of minutes out of his day. But you never forget those moments.
Yeah.
And we're getting too deep now in this podcast. I guess the Miller High Life is hitting me a little. We're getting.
Or when you sit in the front row of the left field wall and heckle a Toronto Blue Jay future Toronto Blue Jays player and call all kinds of names under the sun, and then he goes up and hits a walk-off home run.
Do you remember his name?
And then looks right over. No, unfortunately, I don't. But
I do.
He looks right over at you and.
Well, see, because so the story of this is we were at that Kachana Carter was post this. This would have been Rudy Johnson when this would have happened, Paul. So Leroy and I, when we were in college, we went to one game at the Hot Rods, and we stood. It was just me, you, Buttons, and Caleb, who's been on our podcast before, and Reese might have been there too.
Yeah,
but Reese wouldn't have participated probably.
Yeah.
But we stood along the right field wall, and the right fielder for the Blue Jays farm team at the time was a guy by the name of Andrew Giat.
Giat, that's right. That's what his name was.
And we heckled him the entire game. I mean, and we were not bad. We just were always. I mean, it was.
It's funny because as the innings increased, he would run faster and faster off the field. Like you could tell he was getting kind of annoyed by it.
So how high did he end up making it? So he made it to AAA in 2019 and hit $159. Good job, Andrew. But we were letting it, and it came up to the top of the 9th inning, and we were letting him have it all. That like my grandma runs faster than you, things like that. And
you're never gonna get to the next level. You keep playing like you are.
He laced a game-winning double, and it was funny because he starts, because they had to run because their clubhouse was in like left center field. He runs and we stood there and we go, Andrew, and we all at the same time planned to tip our cap to him. And he came over and he talked to us. And he was like, guys, like, this is the most fun I've had. And he's like, because I mean, we were just having fun. He knew that. We were just talking smack. And he says, you guys were the most fun I've had in all year.
He laced that double and was like looking right over at us the whole time. Like,
we were like, okay, you win. See, I was looking to see if I could, because there was a time where I followed him on Twitter. Because I was curious to see if I could see, is this him? Oh, here he is on Facebook. What's he doing now? Yep, there he is. Oh, his wife.
Running a sports clinic and shit.
It doesn't say. He has not posted on Facebook since COVID, since 2020.
Oh.
So hopefully he's okay. Andrew Guillot. Shout out to him on today's episode of From the Pressbox.
That's right.
Next week, I don't know what we might have. Well, I guess next week the Olympics get ready to start.
Yeah,
maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Olympics. And who knows what else might happen between now and then.
We're gonna make Sam drink a gallon of lemonade.
Well, that's what we're both doing next year on the 4th of July.
I don't know if that's safe.
Probably not. What was eating 5.5 hot dogs safe?
Probably not.
No.
Sounds good. All right, buddy. Well, it was good hanging out with you tonight. Hey, thanks to everyone for watching our podcast tonight. We greatly, greatly appreciate all y'all watching and hanging out with us. And hopefully we all had a little bit of fun this evening. I know I did.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see you next week for another edition of From the Pressbox.
I do not have diabetes.
Diabetes. On that note.
Good night.
Good night.